start again. And it's the
So, but if you look at the last chord, they're not separate notes. It's a chord, right? So when you say it's awkward, meaning maybe 2, 4, 5 is too big of a stretch, maybe? Is that why? Maybe. So you're not holding on to any notes anyways. So you can let go your thumb because you use 2 and 1, 3, 5. You're not holding the D anyways. And when you start using, thumb on the second note, second note, it separates this chord into 5 separate notes, which we don't want to play out all 4 notes. We want to make it sound still. Like this, right? There you go. Just think about it, okay? And you can even let go the thumb in the second finger and hold the 4 thumb using the pedal to hold it on. I just think it's a more logical finger, okay? Very nice. I think, the only suggestion comment that I have really is 2 things. Number 1, the placement of your grace notes, especially from the thumb part down, going up, which happens quite a few times. You know what I'm talking about? Right here. The placement, the timing of the bottom notes. Right now, your bottom note is quite early, and in turn, I feel like I'm hearing the bottom note more so than the top. The other comment is obviously those ornaments, not ornaments, but they're written out ornaments. Again, the timing of certain areas where you push, where you pull, and your decision on, you always run out of time because your left hand is ready to get to the downbeat, and you don't know what to do with your right hand at a certain point. And you always rush your right hand. You always try to meet the downbeat with the left hand. Therefore, not so much here, but right here. That has, maybe very little to do with the playing, but rather planning. Knowing where you are in the middle of the run, how much time you have. The worst thing we can do is to literally lining them up. We don't want to do that. So it's listening, planning, that's it, okay? And the middle section with the octave, I think we can make it sound so much more the sound should be closer to you, right? Compared to the beginning. The beginning is a singular melodic line that could sound, miles away. But here, you can feel the notes, and then figure out a way that you can play octaves with a little more connected voicing and more legato playing. And don't be afraid to play on more. And especially on those eighth notes. A little too even here. Okay. Don't be afraid to give a little more. And that little transition, you do a very good job. I'm sorry. Right here. You did a pretty good job. But I think it can be even smoother if possible. Let's try to do it more. play different scores with different phrasing. Okay. Yeah. Look at this one. Okay. Even with this phrasing, do you think the first downbeat F is the first note of the phrasing? So where does the first downbeat F belong to? No. Where does this F belong to?
Like probably belonging to like in relation to the left hand or just
No, phrasing wise.
phrasing wise. I don't know. It kind of pushes.
Okay, so moving forward.
Right.
Okay, so which tells me that you're treating this as a downbeat. It's the beginning of the phrase, right?
I see.
You see, but you don't like it.
Well, I guess no. I agree with you.
Okay, what's the note before F? No, what's the
Where is it?
G flat? How can you separate those two notes? They're like conjoined between. That's the first phrase. That's the first little introduction, you know? And when I say that, because if you look at here, that's 3 from the second. Wait, I'm sorry. Yes, all of those. This B flat is not part of the top B flat. It's not. So in other words, the F is there are only 3 F, not 4. Okay, so and that would also tell you the left hand needs to be a lot more sympathetic when you're writing. That the minute you start thinking of the F as being the downbeat, this is what it is. Okay. I want you to take a very gentle breath after the first note. Just exactly. Just okay. Yeah. And listen to the way you blend from G flat to F. I know it's not easy because now you've got the left and lower B flat, but it has to sound as if it's overlapped. This is not. To me personally, I don't only hear the notes, but I see the phrasing. I can feel the phrasing. I can breathe with you. Otherwise, I don't want to be tacked along. I want to feel the freedom that I can breathe the way that I hear, rather than you make me go a certain way. But if you play like this, it's much more inviting. any of the notes should become no. It's not a habit. No, it's not a habit. I think it's more the fear of not being together with the left hand. You know, the left hand can be a little more adjustable. Yeah. That's perfect. And just rearrange the direction of the notes and it'll be perfect. Okay, same thing. Finish that B flat. Yeah. And then the first B flat is a small beginning. It's a little opening to the line. Don't be too anxious. You're skipping.
Oh, yes.
We're going to A flat, yeah. Okay, so if you see the pattern of your Rhineland melody, a quarter note follows by 4/8 notes. That pattern seems to happen quite often, right? I think at some point, if we can, take away this quarter note connecting to 4/8 as if this this is fine. Certain grouping, I think it would be much more smoother in your breath if it's not always indicating where the downbeats are. That's fine. We need this. We need it. Right? We need this. We need this. But here. Yeah. Because again, that's the end of the phrase.
Also, so it's like,
There you go. Okay? So just watch this. Control your dynamics and control your pedal. It's rather thin. Here. right hand, not so much on the left hand, so we don't hear. Balance a little bit better and a little more vibrato on the right hand. It doesn't have to be free all the way through. Maybe the first, I don't know, 3 beats can be spread out, pull sideways, and then release your tension.
Yeah. So you can say that the right hand is sort of leading beats.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes. I mean, the other rule we always say is the left hand is like a metric, like your pulse, that never changes. That is absolutely true. But there are exceptions. And I think your left hand is very, very good throughout the piece. It stays on its course. And unfortunately, there are times where it's too little strict, and it's not allowing your right hand to be even more expressive. Right here. Okay, let's just try it. Well, here you have 7 against 6. Yeah? It's not so conflicting, really. It's not. You're playing literally so precise, you know. You're still looking at more of a direction of your right hand phrasing rather than worry about matching with the left hand. Because if you take away your left hand, you would play like this naturally. But the minute you add your left hand in there, you go. Okay? So that's one thing. Now, you play. Your grace note is literally like the measure before. I mean, you can still, if you wish to play this before the bass, that's fine. I'm sorry. This is to emphasize the top note, not this is separate by itself. It's not. You're playing and a little soft on the front. And the same thing, it's 3 against 2. Right? Maybe a little more time between the first 2 eighths notes. Again, play your writing by itself and really listen to how you would time in between those eighths notes. And you always, have a little freedom, not so rhythmic, and allow your right hand to take the lead. I know why. Because your thumb is there, and it's a fingering issue. You land on your B flat only because it's connected with the fingering 2 to 1, right? It's for the convenience purpose. You can't wait to get to the thumb. What happens if you were just as a practice purpose? Okay, go to the thumb. Finish the C on the thumb, and then let's see what happens. No. So the grace note's gonna be on the thumb.
Okay, so
No. Thumb to thumb. That forces you to restart. There you go. Anyway, I think it's also getting used to listening and physical timing. It's not something that you feel comfortable just yet. Anyway, let's go on. Okay, so left hand. Which notes are the most interesting and important?
Yes. Because those are also in the D5 major.
It changes the harmony.
Yeah.
Okay. It doesn't matter whether it's decrescendo or retard, whatever, it does not matter. You gotta pay more attention to those notes. Listen more carefully toward the end of each left hand sixth note movement. The connection point. Right now, it's a little bit because I think we have been, told from the very first measure, left hand is a group of six notes. Obviously, 5/6 is always flat. But in the middle, in this section, I think the left hand should have more of a direction from 5/6 going to the next group, because your right hand needs that little connection. Otherwise, it's too much of a vertical pulse. Okay? chromatic movement. Can we exaggerate just a little more on this off B A flat because it's tied. Yeah, okay, and that's where the left hand also has to be a little more considerate of your right phrasing. Let's start from here. A little more sound. Very beautiful. Just maybe here, imagine the sound that you're creating that could be a little more colorful, a little brighter perhaps, a little more present. You know, it's obviously one place here a lot louder, but louder doesn't really make the color change. The color has to do with voice, the balance of the notes, and by the texture of the articulation. So. Don't be afraid. But again, balancing the right and the left hand is so important. And within your right hand, You know? Again, play without the right and the left hand. I am absolutely certain you will play this way. You will not play. Yeah? There's nothing there to keep it so perfectly original without the left. Okay, so do that at home and listen for the sound, for the phrases, for the breath and voice. Okay, let's do that little left hand transition to the recap. Do you feel that this is separate phrase? Or is it one?
How I'm playing it, that's how it sounds. I don't want it to be like that.
So it's a very simple fix, quick fix. Do you know what that might be?
Thinking of it as like you sing. I guess you can say. I like to sing this part, especially. I don't sing
There you go. You're connecting from the D flat to A flat.
Yes.
So how do you connect without starting again? You let go. You let go here. So you end a little softer, start a little softer. You connect. It's that simple. But when you're playing, yeah, that's Again, it's too much on the D flat. Maybe a little more on the E flat so you can taper off. Yeah. Very nice. You do a very good job in terms of bringing out the left hand bass, but you can actually give it a little more time. Your timing for each eighth note is completely steady, but you just brought out the note a little bit more than others. But I think it deserves a little more time. Again, you're trying to arrive on time with the left hand. What if your left hand slows down just a little bit? Give your trill not so rushed in kind of an anxious kind of a way of playing. It's beautiful, spacious turn. Very inviting rather than, being in a rush. beginning rather than the end of the grace note. Now, okay, your grace note must be closer to the downbeat rather than 5 beats earlier. Okay. Very nice, very nice. I want you to practice connecting the top notes. Without the pedal. Okay? And letting go the bottom note. Good. Good. Keep going. Keep going. 3, 5. And you have better voice in that way. Okay, let's just play the way that you play with the pedal. Yes, and also don't forget, again, the last chord, the top note, the D, is the downbeat. So you have how much time can you really give in between the measure? That's like a whole measure later, you're arriving on the D, okay? Just keep that in mind. It's not that you cannot take time, but don't forget the D is still part of so my only suggestion would be keep the good work on your left hand that is always there. You know, keep everything in line, nothing goes out of place. But play a few times without the left hand, just your right hand, and allow the phrasing to be a lot more poetic, a lot more musical, a lot more, not rhythmic. You know, usually, you know, what we always say is, "What you're being way too free. You have no sense of pulse when you play Chopin." But for you, I think it's always the opposite, especially with the constant left hand overlooking the right hand rhythmically. You probably need to just experience a little more of a freer phrasing. And then go back with the left hand, and then it will be a perfect balance. You know, your right hand will behave if it's a little out of line, but your left hand is